I'm a positive person, he's a positive person. Great choice of words, wow.
It's LeahMouseVlog, LeahMouseVlog, it's LeahMouse's vlog.
Hey kids, how you doing? Well, how about this for some wonderfully light entertainment for you? If you follow my LeahMouse Facebook fan page, you already know what's going on. And if you don't, then prepare for this one, okay? It's actually not that big of a deal, to be honest. But just when we thought we were out of the woods, just when we thought we were at the edge of the dumb and the everything and the stuff, you know what I'm saying. Forgive me, my brain is a little bit fuzzy right now. We made it a whole damn year, over a year, in fact, perfectly fine. And now, at the precipice of things being normal again, wouldn't you know, yep, that's right, we finally got COVID. I hate to say it. I hate to say it out loud. It sounds awful and it makes me feel weird. But yes, JJ and I have COVID. Yay. As you can see, I'm pretty well okay. It seems to be, for me, hanging out like here in my nose, and they say that it can do that. It gets in your nose, and that's just kind of where it hangs out and where it lives until it dies, and you know, and that's the extent of what you have to go through. My throat is a little bit icky right now because I just spoke on the phone with my mom for quite a while, and more talking stirs up more phlegmies, I guess. So, I mean, I'm breathing okay. I'm not achy or anything. I think I had the worst of it a couple of days ago, actually. Didn't have any idea that it was COVID because I thought it was just a serious sinus problem, because I get these sinus infections when the weather fluctuates dramatically, which it has been doing lately, right? Until I went to smell something and realized I couldn't smell it. And I was like, well, this isn't normal. So yeah, but then I went ahead and I tested my sense of taste, and I can still taste. I just can't smell anything. I haven't been able to smell anything for 3 days, and you know what? It's weird. It's real weird. So the thing about that and the candle orders is, like I said on my post on my Facebook page, is that I'm not gonna shut down sales. I'm not going to disable sales or anything, you know. If people want to still order, they're welcome to it. However, I'm not going to fill any orders, and I'm not going to go anywhere near my supplies until we're out of the woods. I'm not going to be touching anything. I'm not going to be going near anything. I'm not going to be breathing on anything. Nothing. Like, it's quarantined. Separate from our quarantine, you know what I'm saying? And before I start filling orders again, I am going to sanitize everything very thoroughly, just on the air of safety, just to make sure everybody feels safe and, you know, everything is in order, because, well, I wouldn't feel right about it if it didn't, you know? So that's what's going on with that. Obviously, neither of us can work right now. So, you know, I would be mortified if candle orders stopped, actually, in the face of this, because I don't want people to get scared and think that they're, you know, ordering COVID candles, you know what I mean? Because, you know, ordering on a website, it's just going to sit there as an unfilled order on my phone until we're done with this and I can sanitize everything and we're in the clear and everything will be fine, you know? I'm not going to get anybody sick. I 100% guarantee I will not get anybody sick because I am not that person. I am not that person. I don't know what irresponsible moron got us sick, but woe to them. So the way this kind of started was one night a few days ago. I don't even remember what day it was. I don't even know what day it is today. God, the days have been a blur, just with working and then with this and everything, and we've just been basically hunkered downstairs watching old 90s movies and stuff. JJ's napping right now because he didn't sleep great last night. Yeah, we're actually sleeping apart right now. So I'm sleeping in this room, you know, the cat's room, the Harry Potter room. You know, this is my domain now, and I let him have the big bed so he can roll around if he needs to. But yeah, I guess I was the first one that had symptoms, but I didn't realize they were symptoms, you know, because again, I just thought it was another sinus thing. And I didn't feel quite right, you know, I felt like very head pressury, and I was coughing a little bit. Oh God. And I've been doing that a lot. Dear Lord. Whew. Anyway, yeah, and I didn't feel good. I just kind of felt really tired and just kind of, you know, in the head. And I actually fainted. That's the second time in my life I've ever fainted. I don't faint. I'm not a fainter. I don't do that. And JJ was standing right there in the kitchen, actually, and I started to feel real dizzy and weird. And I went to grab his shoulder to say, honey, I don't feel good. And all I got out of my mouth was, huh. And then I just kind of went down like a sack of hammers. And the next thing I know, he's like propping me up on the floor against the wall. Like, you know, babe, are you okay? And he got me some water, and I was like, what the hell just happened, you know? So that was weird. I didn't know what that was. I just kind of attributed it to being, I don't know, super tired or malnourished, because I haven't been eating great either lately, which is my own fault. But with work, you know, you just kind of grab and go, and I haven't, you know, I just, I've been an idiot about my diet lately. But anyway, so that happened, and I just wasn't feeling great for a couple days. I was just really tired, and I had a headache, you know, that wouldn't go away, and it was just head pressure shit, and I, you know, all this, it just didn't feel good. So, and then, night before last, I believe it was, JJ wasn't feeling great. He said that his chest was kind of tight, but, you know, he figured that was from working, because he has a very physical job and works his muscles a lot. So, again, these things happen, and we just thought they were like run-of-the-mill part of our lives things, until he woke me up at 2:30 in the morning, and I was actually sleeping in here. I've been sleeping in here for a couple nights in a row now, because the dog keeps me awake, and because he just like burrows around like Bugs Bunny and then like flaps his ears, and it just keeps startling me awake. So I've been coming in here just to actually get some sleep, you know what I mean? So JJ came wandering in about 2:30 in the morning, and I was real confused, because I thought it was, you know, 4 in the morning, which is when we get up and go to work. And he came in and he was like, babe, do you have a thermometer? And I was like, what? Yeah, I got a thermometer. And I got up out of bed and I saw what time it was. I was like, this is weird, what's going on? So I got the thermometer for him, and we took his temperature, and he was at about 100 degrees, you know, so it wasn't a huge fever, but I mean, it was a fever. And I was like, okay, you have a fever, you know, what's going on? What's going on? And he said his chest hurt a little bit, and he had the chills, and, you know, he didn't feel great. So I was like, okay, well, you're gonna call work, and you're gonna tell them, you know, about this, because it could be COVID, but either way, you know, you're sick, you're not going to work. And he, you know, he's stubborn, he's a guy, and he was like, no, I could probably still go to work. I'm like, no. I got a fever, you're staying home and resting, you know, don't chance it. Just call your boss, tell him what's going on. So, and he asked me, JJ asked me, he was like, you think I should get tested? I said, yeah, you probably should, just to be safe. And neither of us expected it to actually be COVID, you know. But so he called his boss, told him what was going on. At 2:30 in the morning, his boss actually answered the phone, and he was like, you know, I'm sorry to wake you, but this is going on. So his boss is real nice. He was like, yeah, that's fine, you know, just take the day, let me know what's going on. So we both went back to bed after a little bit, and about 11:30, I said, okay, you know, do you want me to call the hotline for you? And he was like, yeah. So I called the hotline. I explained that we both had symptoms, but they were very different symptoms, and they kind of bypassed me in what my symptoms were, because, you know, they're very mild and it could be anything. But when I passed the phone to JJ and they started asking him questions, and he said fever and chest pain, and they're just like, okay, we recommend you actually come to the clinic, get checked out immediately, not just tested. We need to check you out. So we did. So I took him to the clinic. He couldn't drive. He was in no condition to drive. And so I drove him to the clinic. We went in there, you know, everybody obviously had masks and PPE and everything like that. And so the guy checked him out, listened to his lungs, you know, and he was like, okay, your lungs sound fine. You don't need to be hospitalized this time. You know, you should be okay. Just, you know, do this and that, you know, just try to monitor it. You know, if your fever hits 103, you know, let us know, blah, blah, blah. If you have any trouble breathing, let us know, and all this. So he got the test. And it turns out that the lab that was part of the clinic that we went to stopped processing the test because our numbers have been down, you know, in North Dakota. So they had to send it to a different lab. And they wouldn't have known the results till after 5 o'clock, I guess. And the particular doctor was leaving at 5 o'clock. And he called him to tell him that. He's like, so, you know, I'll call you first thing in the morning when I come back in and have these results for you. And I'll let you know either way. And he said, for now, they didn't test me at the time because they told me, you know, if you're living with him, and he said, I'm pretty sure this is COVID. This is definitely a virus. And it really seems like it is COVID. He said, like, since you're living with him and you also have some symptoms, let's just assume that you have it. You know, you know, you pretty much have it. And I was like, okay. So, so he's like, treat it like you have it. Go home, quarantine, don't go anywhere. Just sit tight, you know, isolate until you hear from me, and we'll go from there. We went downstairs and, you know, we were just kind of watching a bunch of movies and just trying to relax. And, you know, we had some soup and sandwiches and lots of liquids and trying to stay hydrated and everything like that. I was keeping a real close eye on JJ's fever, and it actually hit 102 last night, and it got pretty bad. Like, I actually kind of got a little scared because he looked like he was just like deliriously cooking from the inside out. Like, he just looked just so glazed over and wasn't even, you know, with it. And he was super hot to the touch. Like, I just touched him and I was like, my God, babe, you are burning up. And so I took his temperature, and yeah, it was 102. And we were rotating between ibuprofen and Tylenol because that's what we heard to do. And, you know, he was drinking a lot of liquid. He was drinking a lot of water, and he found somewhere that said putting sea salt in water, you know, does some electrolytes thing. Brondo. It's what plants crave. Electrolytes. Ah, props to you if you get that reference. Sorry, Houdini was going a little nuts there. But anyway, so we were doing a lot of things that we could think of to sort of get his fever under control, and it pretty much worked. So before bed, you know, his personality started to come back a little bit, you know, and he was being a little jokey and ornery again, instead of just like this cooking shell of a human that I was staring at that scared me to death. And before bed, I took his temperature again, and he was down below 100 again. So I was like, okay, thank God. So he slept in there, I slept in here, and I said, you know, wake me up immediately if anything changes, if you need me or anything at all. But we both slept through the night. I guess he didn't sleep the greatest. I guess he was tossing and turning a lot, which is to be expected, but he was super, super sore. Like, super sore. Like, he could barely move. Like, I had to take his shirt off for him to go to bed, and he was just, and he can't even, like, lift his arms to scratch his nose. He said, I feel like a chimp, you know, like, ooh, 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 because he can't just, like, do this, you know. He has to, like really strain. And I feel bad because, yeah, he's not great. He's not doing great. But anyway, so this morning I took his temperature when he got up again. We still managed to wake up at the same time, even though we were in separate bedrooms and sleeping in and everything. It was kind of weird, but I took his temperature and he was at 101 this morning. So we went downstairs, you know, took his medicine and everything. And we were just watching a bunch of dippy movies, watched like the Mighty Ducks and the Sandlot and something else, I don't remember, but yeah. And then he was really, really tired because, you know, he didn't sleep very well and everything, and, you know, he's sick and he needs to rest. So he was like, you know, I'm gonna take a nap down here. And I was like, okay. So he's downstairs napping right now, and I was like, well, I'm gonna officially go get myself a test. So I called the clinic and I told them what was going on, and they were like, yeah, come in, you know, we'll see you and we'll give you a test and everything. So we officially tested me. So, and it was a vicious test. This is my third nose swab that I've had now. This guy went deep and he stayed in there for a while and he twisted around some even, and I was like, made my eye water something fierce. Yeah, so we've officially both been tested now. COVID is here. Yippity-doo-dah-day. And I mean, there's people on both sides of the spectrum, right? There's people who are like, oh, it's not that bad, it's manageable at home, it's just like anything else, like having a cold or the flu or this or that. you know, and then there's other people who are like, this is awful, this is death, this is terrible, I don't ever want to go through this again. It's just so bad. So I think I'm kind of on the side of like, you know, it's not that bad. It's basically just like a sinus infection, only it's not as bad as some sinus infections I've had, to be honest. But my blood type might have something to do with it, my mom told me, because my body has always handled viruses extremely well. I've never had a flu shot in my entire life, not one. And I've also never had the flu, not once. And I had chickenpox when I was little, which is a virus, and I handled that really well. I actually recently had shingles. I'm not embarrassed to tell you that anymore now that COVID is here. But yeah, that was the thing that I was talking about in one of my other vlogs. The thing, you know, my chickenpox virus came back and I got shingles. And everybody was telling me how awful that was and that was gonna be and everything. And I was just like, yeah, it's actually not that bad. Like, I had this spot on my leg that just kind of never healed right. I'll actually show you. I'll show you my leg if you're interested here. While we're talking about my health and well-being, yeah. So, I don't know how well you can see that, but that's the spot on my leg where I had the shingles. That's actually healed. It's scarred looking like that. This is an outline of where the Band-Aid was that I had over it. And that's another little spot that kind of had it, and it sort of bruised underneath a little bit, but yeah, that's where my shingles was. You know, and it really wasn't that bad. I mean, it hurt a little bit for a couple of days, and it itched a little bit. You know, honest to God, a healing tattoo is itched more than this thing. This thing, it actually itched more when it was healing than when it was in, like, full-fledged, you know, flaming mode. It was weird. So, I mean, that's a virus. It went through me real easy. I've had cases of poison ivy that was worse than the shingles, to be honest. And I don't think I've ever had any other virus, you know? And obviously COVID is a virus, and this is the extent of it. If I would never have told you guys that I had COVID in this vlog, honestly, and if I wouldn't have drawn attention to like my sneezing and my stuffy nose and stuff, honestly, you guys probably just would have thought I had a stuffy nose, or you might not have even noticed, to be honest. So this is me with COVID. It's like, I mean, I hope it stays this way. I'm not trying to like tempt fate or anything, but yeah, looping back around, my mom said that my blood type probably has a lot to do with it, because apparently a lot of people have been saying that type O blood is really combative against viruses, I guess. And I do have type O blood. I'm type O negative. Type O negative. The metalhead is in my blood. Which is stupid because I'm not a metalhead. Oh, it's just wasted on me, isn't it? Yes, it is. And I don't know what JJ's blood type is, but since he's part native, he was telling me that natives don't handle sicknesses very well at all, and he's prone to viruses. In fact, you know, he's had several flus and doesn't handle them well. So explains why he's, you know, way worse off than I am here, and he's got entirely different symptoms. And that's the way this weird-ass virus has been going, you know. 2 people can get it in the same household and have entirely different symptoms. One person can be on death's door, one person can not have any symptoms at all. It's very strange, this virus. It's very strange. And it's weird to finally be experiencing it firsthand. And, you know, it's kind of a relief. I told Mom that. I said, you know, it's a little bit of a relief because we spent the whole year being stressed out, worried about getting it, and trying not to get it. And now we have it. So we can just sit here and recuperate and not have to think about being scared of getting it. I know that sounds weird, but we're also very positive people. We look on the bright side of stuff. So while we don't like inconveniencing our employers by not being able to go to work and like having to quarantine and everything, and while I don't like not being able to fill candle orders or even going near the stuff, and I don't want anybody to be afraid of that, because I guarantee you I will not do anything to jeopardize anything at all. So yeah, I'm not touching my supplies. I'm gonna get a big old spray bottle of something. I'm gonna look into how to exactly do that. I am gonna douse the crap out of all my supplies. It's gonna be fine, and this is gonna be after we're already out of the, you know, in the clear here. So there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to worry about here. I forget where I was going with that. I started off on one page and ended up on another, and that's how my brain works. Oh yeah, well, we both feel bad about, you know, our obligations to other people, like our employers and, you know, my customers and everything like that. It's kind of nice to just, you know, be able to just sit down downstairs and watch movies and go to bed when we're tired and sleep until, you know, we feel like getting up and we feel like we're rested, you know, and to just not have to stress about all of our obligations right now. You know, it's not great that we have to do it while sick, him especially, but it's kind of nice to take a little bit of a breather from life, essentially, you know, and then also take away the stress of every time you go out, you're worried about getting COVID, you know, because, well, we already have it. We're not going anywhere. We're not going out and doing anything. We're staying here, but it's nice to have that sort of stress relief, you know, lifted. It's weird. It's a weird way to look at it, I suppose, but again, I'm a positive person. He's a positive person. Great choice of words. Wow. Okay, we like to look on the bright side. How about that? I'll word it that way. Yeah, we like to look on the bright side of things, and obviously we're hoping that we both pull through this in one piece. I hope my sense of smell comes back, because it's really weird not being able to smell anything. Wouldn't that be ironic? The scented candle maker loses her sense of smell. Because I've actually heard of some people, among my viewers actually, who got COVID, lost their sense of smell, and it never came back. Which is unfortunate. But you know what? Beethoven wrote piano and orchestral masterpieces, and the man was deaf. So I think a scented candle maker could still get by with no sense of smell, because at least I have a partner that I can confer with and be like, dude, does this smell good? So hopefully my sense of smell comes back, because I am all about smell, but I mean, there are definitely worse senses to lose, so I'm not gonna sweat it, to be honest. But mostly I just hope that JJ pulls through this okay. I think that the worst of it is over for him, and I think last night was the worst of it, to be honest, and it was kind of scary. It was kind of scary. I was worried there for a little bit, especially when they kind of abruptly reacted and they're like, oh yeah, he needs to be seen at the clinic like right away, you know, based on these symptoms. And I was worried, because I love him, you know, and I want him to be okay. But yeah, I think he'll be okay now that we got the fever stuff, you know, monitored and under control, and we're trying to take care of him as best we can here. His mom's actually a nurse, so she's been giving us advice on how to do, because she's been dealing with, you know, patients with COVID, you know, this whole time. So she knows what to do. So I think it'll be okay. So I don't want to scare anybody, and I don't want to make anybody worry. So I just kind of wanted to show you my face and, you know, explain what it's like here in the house of COVID. And I know it's yeah, I'll tell you what, when I was more afraid of it before I had it than after I got it. I don't know, that sounds weird, but it's true. Now that I have it, I'm not afraid of it anymore, because the fear was being afraid of getting it. So now I have it. So there's nothing to be afraid of anymore. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. And I'm not saying it's not a big deal in general. I realize a lot of people have gotten very, very sick and people have passed away from this. I understand that. I am not trying to downplay the thing as a whole. I'm just saying, for me, I'm very fortunate to have gotten it very light, to have gotten it very lightly. I know that. So it's not a big deal for me. I'm not saying it's not a big deal in general, and my heart goes out to anybody who didn't do very well through it and unfortunately, you know, passed on from it. That's very sad, and that really sucks. And you know, we did all we could, a lot of us did, to try to keep it under control and everything, but I mean, I don't even know how we got it, to be honest. I have no idea. It could have been anybody, anywhere, anytime. I don't know. I really don't know. We were as careful as we could, and that's how we avoided it for over a year, and then somehow, someone, somewhere, a droplet descended upon us, and here we are. So, but I just wanted to be honest with you guys and tell you what's going on face to face here and show you what it's like for me. I'm not going to throw JJ on camera. 1, because he's sleeping. 2, I don't think that he would be comfortable with that, and I'm not trying to shove a camera in his face when he's not feeling good right now. But understand that I think the worst of it is over for him. I hope so. He's kind of back to his old self today. He's just a little tired and sore and fevery, but for the most part, he's still JJ. But keep him and me in your thoughts anyway. We want to be able to get through this, okay? So, like I said, don't be afraid to still order candles, because you have my word that I'm not going to do anything to endanger you guys, and I'm not touching the stuff until we're well and in the clear and everything is sanitized. So don't worry, and if you want some candles, place your order, and I'll keep the order safe and sound on my phone without touching anything until I can properly fill it for you safely and all that. Okay, I need to stop. My throat's getting scratchy. Alright, I hope you guys are still staying safe out there, and I love you. I'll keep you updated if I can, if there's any drastic changes, but other than that, we're just gonna be sitting in the basement watching movies and enjoying our leisure, if you could even call it that. Okay, bye.